Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. That's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman responding to the debate on the budget in Parliament. But remember, earlier there were fireworks in Parliament because LOP Rahul Gandhi finally took the stage after a long delay because his previous speech to the motion of thanks to the President's address was derailed because of his insistence of quoting General Naravane's book. But today his main contention was that Prime Minister Modi sold the country's interests because he's facing some other pressures vis-a-vis US. Rahul's speech was littered by, yet again, many mentions of subjects not relevant to the budget, and hence he faced many objections and interruptions from the government and the Speaker. He brought in subjects like various businessmen's names, the Epstein files, and suggestive accusations against the Prime Minister. The chair refused to allow this on record. Now, for a brief minute, it even became about him and Jagdambika Pal, who was in the chair. The Congress MP sought to taunt Pal that you were once in my party, so I'll relent today. He even went on to say, I know you don't like it there. Jagdambika Pal naturally objected to these mentions and added that had you listened to my advice earlier, you wouldn't have been in opposition. Suffice to say, Rahul Gandhi, possibly having learned from the squandered opportunity during motion of thanks, was insisting today that he gets his points in. Even those he knew or maybe didn't know would not be allowed. But did he hit the bullseye while trying to corner the government on the US trade deal and budget, or miss the mark? That's the big debate coming up with our guests. First up, the face-off was so intense today that Parliamentary Affairs Minister Rijiju announced that they will file a privilege motion against Rahul Gandhi for misleading the House. Now take a look at this back and forth. Government took offence that Rahul claimed India's sovereignty is compromised due to US trade deal. Government called it conjecture. Rahul alleged budget did not have any solutions to current world problems and ignored issues like AI, data and global security. Government rebutted that the budget is quite substantive. Rahul alleged that there is some other pressure on the Prime Minister. He used innuendos, and that is why India's interests have been sold off. That is what he said. Government accused Rahul of making unsubstantiated allegations, and as I said, they could move a privilege motion against him. Now, the LOP also alleged that he is not allowed to speak or not allowed to speak freely. To that, the government said he must follow procedures and rules. And then there was this face-off over Rahul alleging that Prime Minister had sold Bharat Mata. Listen in.
I am saying that you have sold India. Are you not ashamed of selling India? Yes. Do you have no shame of selling India? You have sold our mother, Bharat Mata. Do you have no shame?
राहुल जी ने कहा कि हमारा देश, भारत देश को आपने सेल कर दिया है। मैं सदन में कहना चाहता हूँ, आज तक कोई माई के लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ जो भारत को सेल कर सकता है, कोई खरीद सकता है, नहीं हो सकता है।
Meanwhile, it's important to mention here, since the US trade deal was a major issue, that there was a revision of the fact sheet on India's deal with the US, either changing or removing certain aspects that have been deemed problematic by the opposition or other critics. So the earlier version had mentioned that India will reduce tariffs on certain pulses, but the new version does not mention pulses at all. Old version mentioned India is committed to buying $500 billion worth of American goods, including agriculture. But the new version has removed the mention of agriculture. It only mentions energy, ICT, coal, etc. Even on India's overall commitment of this $500 billion purchases, the wording has been changed from India committed to buy. It has become India intends to buy. On digital service tax removal, something that Rahul Gandhi also mentioned today, the fact sheet now says that it will be negotiated. It removes the word removal. And finally, on Russian oil, earlier there was no mention at all, but the new version accepts that India will stop Russian oil buying. The big question, though, continues to be just this. Has Rahul Gandhi managed to corner the government as far as the trade deal is concerned, or did he miss the mark? Was his speech more about other things than focusing on budget and US deal? That's coming up with our guests.
You have opened the door to mechanized American farms, thousands and thousands of acres each farm. You have opened the door to crush our poor farmers.
और आज देश मजबूती से आगे बढ़ रहा है, आप लोग खुश नहीं है। भारत आगे बढ़ने से कांग्रेस दुखी हो जाते हैं।
ये बात राहुल गांधी जी को समझने के लिए शायद कठिनाई होती है। किसानों की सुरक्षा को पूर्णतः ध्यान में रखकर ही यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका के साथ बातचीत हुई, फैसले हुए।
Availability has been there at all time. Affordability, we have some of the lowest energy prices. We will buy from wherever we have to in order to ensure that the demands of the consumer are satisfied.
Let's go across to our guest joining us, Rohan Gupta, spokesperson BJP, Arshpreet Kadyal of the Congress Party with us. Dilip Chinoy is chairman, Bharat Web3 Association and former Secretary General of FICCI. I do thank you all for your time and for your patience. So Rohan, I begin with you. Rahul Gandhi finally cornering the government on the US deal and on the budget. We would have liked to see this, frankly, last week itself. But, you know, he has raised certain substantive points that a lot of us are talking about. And his primary objection is that, you know, there are pressures of other kinds that have forced the hand of the Indian government. Please respond.
So I think it took 1 week for LOP to prepare his points, and that's why he derailed the parliament last week. Anyways, see, LOP is a constitutional post, and any allegation you make needs to be substantiated by the facts. And none, I'm sorry to say, the whole speech, there were no facts. It's all rhetorics, it's all theatrics. You know, saying that Bharat Mata ko becha, how can you even utter that word? Kiski himmat hai? Bharat Mata ko bechne ki himmat kisi ki nahi hai. I think I'm totally against. Yes, definitely you can oppose the government, but using these kind of words against India के बेच दिया, मुझे लगता है ये शर्म की बात है. LOP को इस सबके शब्द use नहीं करने चाहिए. Now I'm giving you the facts how he's completely wrong on the numbers and the actual facts. This is the the table which I'm showing. Tracking India's crude purchase starting from 2019, where our Russian oil import was only 0.9% throughout the Ukraine-Russia war. Mind you, it is the maximum pressure on all the countries to cut down the imports from Russia. We never budged. We ensured that our interests, the national interests, remain intact, and we continued buying. It went up to 35. Even now, when we did the US deal, it is 22.2%. You tell me what pressure is Mr. Modi in? If even then, when the trade deal was signed, and the condition was reciprocal tariff was that we have to stop the Russian imports. Even now, it is 22%. On what facts Mr. Rahul Gandhi says that we are under pressure? Absolutely wrong. So this is the first thing. Apart from that, you see all the numbers. When Operation Sindoor happened, this same Congress party was telling, look, we surrendered because we wanted to do trade deal. The government didn't do trade deal. We didn't compromise with our farmers' interests, our dairy, our domestic industries. We waited for the right time. We did the EU tariff, after which there was a pressure and US did the tariff even and when 22%. So, कौन से pressure की आप बात कर रहे थे? Now, when we did US trade deal, just give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds. When we did the US trade deal, they are saying there are other pressures. And what pressures you are talking? You don't have substance. एक भी मुझे फैक्ट बताइए उन्होंने कहा डेटा सिक्योरिटी ऑल आई हैव गॉट ऑल द पॉइंट्स वेयर वी हैव एंश्योर्ड दैट नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज इज डन टू आवर इंडस्ट्री इन फैक्ट डोर्स विल बी ओपन टू आवर MSMEs to US and the 160 billion market will be open to that. I think when the facts are against you, it is better not to indulge in rhetorics. Study your things and come back to parliament, because this is not the speech table. This is parliament. Your numbers have to be substantiated by facts and figures.
So a reminder that whatever arguments can be made outside of parliament is not how it functions inside parliament. Arshpreet, you know, leveling very grave charges that the Prime Minister is somehow compromised. I know the Congress is running a campaign on this, that Modi is compromised. But, you know, running that campaign outside parliament versus making these allegations inside parliament, is it not only fair to ask, to substantiate, what are these other pressures that the Congress LOP was talking about?
Well, see, haven't we seen Mr. Modi even went to Pakistan? He had Kashmiri chai and biryani with the counterpart then, Mr. Nawaz Sharif. And because of Pakistan, so many of our Jawans have been martyred. Mr. Modi didn't once think about them. Number two, all these events, Howdy Modi, Namaste Trump, Ab Ki Baar Trump Sarkar, all those hugs, all those friendships. And what have we gotten? Nothing at all whatsoever. We have gotten 18% tariffs. And America has gotten so much out of it. They have gotten $1 billion deal. They have gotten 0% tariffs. They have gotten so many things, and on the other hand, we are not even imposing counter tariffs on them. If they impose 18% tariffs on us, impose 36% now. And not just that. If America's getting $1 billion deal, why do you not take something from them as well? And number two, as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party's modus operandi is concerned, they have surrendered control over data. They have surrendered control over the digital trade rules. They have allowed free data flow to the US. They have capped the digital taxes. They have waived source code disclosure. They have granted long tax holidays to big tech companies. And the Bharatiya Janata Party's government kindly just tell us, why do you not consult the farmers? Why do you not consult the traders? Why do you not consult the industrialists? Why do you not talk to the stakeholders? Why do you not consult with them? Because they have been kept in dark. They did not even take the parliament into confidence. We want to ask the Bharatiya Janata Party, ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है? आपकी ऐसी क्या मजदूरी है? What is that constraint that's holding you back? If America imposes 50% tariffs on us, impose 100. If they impose 18% tariffs on us, impose 36. We are the world's largest democracy.
But Ashpreet,
do not let India and Indians down.
Okay, but Ashpreet, the very fact that we can no longer have those kind of tariffs on India on US is exactly why these quote-unquote reciprocal tariff regime has come about, right? We have to deal with the realities of the world as it stands today. Trump's entire campaign has been that he will impose the same amount of tariff as other countries give to him. And precisely because India had higher tariffs on US goods is why India was, slapped with 25%. And of course, the Russian oil thing is a completely different thing. But I don't think it's fair to say that if they are imposing 18, we should slap 36. Then there would be no deal. They would slap 36 instead.
One second. Just one request. My request is that the Bharatiya Janata Party's government has been talking of Make in India. And on the other hand, they are signing a 500, America's getting the better end of the bargain. We'll be importing America would be getting the better end of the deal, $500 billion. And what is India getting?
Okay, fair enough.
Number two, not just that. So last point, please, if I may. See, the Bharatiya Janata Party's government has time and time again ignored the opposition. Please consult the opposition. We are the voice of the people. Deliberate, discuss, and then go on with the strategy.
Okay.
Do not keep
We're
the
running
country
what
in
the
dark.
government
What
is saying as
doing,
far
we
as
get
some
to
of the
know from
criticisms
from
of the deal
Americans.
is concerned. Many ministers have spoken, including, of course, the Commerce and Trade Minister, Piyush Goyal himself. But I want to bring in Dilip Chenoy as well. One fundamental question that is arising today is that $500 billion commitment. Now, the wording to that has been changed from India's side. But is this a compromise? Is this that one give that India had to do to get US on the table and to even sign on this framework? Without this, I don't think anything would have worked out. But how do you see this $500 billion commitment?
So, Mr. Vani, I think let's look at it from an industry perspective. I think before the trade deal was signed, there were a lot of labor-intensive sectors like textiles, pharma, leather, gems and jewelry, etc., which are hurting because of that 55% tariff. Now, those tariffs have actually declined as of the 7th of February. He signed that executive order, so they have gone to 18% without any reciprocal response from India. So, we should understand it in that context. The second context is the whole reason why Trump is levying these duties against the rest of the world is because of the trade imbalance, right? And his objective from his point of view is to looking at balancing the trade between different nations is a difficult thing to do. In that context, and given that the US was also looking at a strategic denial of technology, of high-end technology. We weren't initially even included in the rare earths discussion that they were having or the chips discussion that we were having. So it's a very strategic move to say that we will endeavor to buy products from you. And if you look at the products, the way our airlines are expanding here, there are orders for Boeings. Where the data centers are coming up in India, they will necessarily need US equipment. And the announcements that were made by Google and Microsoft, they will also get American-made products. So I don't think it is a different thing. And we are anyway buying around $300 billion worth of goods
One
from across the world all over. So it's a strategic point of view. If you remember, when the nuclear, because of till the nuclear deal was done, we were denied a lot of things. Then we did the nuclear deal to allow those things to come in.
Yeah.
So every time you do a deal, it's a strategy involved, and it's in the best interest of the nation.
In fact,
that you look at.
In fact, you mentioned the nuclear deal. Not surprisingly, that deal and its terms have come out in the open today, possibly to put the Congress and the UPA at that time under question, because the US State Department statement at that time was that India has committed to separate its military and civil activities and submit its entire civil program to international inspection. This includes existing and planned nuclear power reactors and all its future civil reactors. So the question goes out, and it's for our viewers to decide whether any compromise was done and India's interests were compromised. But I have a limited time today. I do thank our guests for staying with us and being with us. We'll, of course, continue to monitor this very closely. But, you know, an interesting aspect on what happened because of Parliament's speech by Rahul Gandhi today, Hardip Puri, whose name has been going around online in connection with the Epstein files, finally came out and said, I was looking for an opportunity to respond, and this was his response on his name in the Epstein files.
Facts are all known, they're in the public domain. 3 million emails have been released. All right? In these 3 million emails, I am in New York for 8 years. Okay? We are talking about the period 2009, May, when I joined as India's ambassador to the UN in New York. My boss in the IPI, Mr. Terry Rod Larson, was the person who knew this particular infamous person, Mr. Epstein. And it is as part of a delegation of the IPI or the ICM that I met Mr. Epstein on a few occasions, 3 or maximum 4. The Epstein files are about charges that he had an island where he used to take people to indulge their sexual fantasies, charges of pedophilia, and there are victims of this. Those victims have brought cases against the people in authority. My interaction has got nothing to do with that.